Hey everyone, John Doyle from OptixEQ. Today is video race of the day. I'm going to look at race 7 from Saratoga, turf sprint, optional claimer. Good race and interesting race. And I think a race we might want to take a little bit of a shot against some of the favorites. First things first, when we're looking at these 5.5 furlong turf races, typically in the old days, or at least historically, this is why everything is, you got to kind of pay attention. Q1 did pretty well. Horses that were forwardly placed did well. This just hasn't been the case so far this meet. In 12 races, we've had no wire-to-wire winners, and Q1 circles have underperformed. They're 1 for 17, and you see we have a cluster of them in this race today, especially on the surface distance, and that's the plot I want to focus in here on the right. This plot, and the reason being is we have two horses here that are not plotting, and those are main track only. So we're going to assume this race, at least we're handicapping it, stays on the turf. We have a nice, good diagonal line. We only have like the one outlier in the 9, but other than that, it's a good fit plot, good one to work with. We got some contention and speed rating relatively high. This really should play against these horses, these circles, who have had trouble finishing on this turf course. So we're going to focus on the squares. We're going to focus on the 8, the 9, the 4, 6, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. And those are the ones we're going to focus on in this analysis. We think the winner is going to come from there. That's not to say one of these horses can't finish in the money, in quadrant 1, but the focus on the win end is going to be the horses that we talked about off the pace, because that's just been the trend so far this meet. Okay, I'm going to start with the 8 because that's the morning line favorite, and a horse I think we can take a little bit chance against. It's just not the same horse he was last year. That's not to say he doesn't have upside, especially with the drop in class from a grade 1. But if you just kind of go back to this horse since like around the Breeders' Cup, just be going into the Breeders' Cup, this horse ran a huge race, huge number at Kentucky Downs, kind of a different kind of turf course. Came back, ran 8th in the Breeders' Cup, came back Keeneland in the spring, was against the flow, ran a pretty good race, but hasn't improved since that race. And we just think that race, this horse would have improved a little bit from that race. And you can look at the Optics fig range of that race and the race before. And then this horse ran into Jaipur, which if you look at the Optics fig range was below, what a graded stakes race would be. So I wouldn't say that's a strong graded race stakes. Now he was wide with no cover, but still kind of a dull 7th, beaten 3.5 lengths, and especially with a weak, kind of a weak graded stakes race, just would want to see some improvement in this horse, and we're just not seeing it at age 5. He's given a little bit of rest. Maybe he can turn it around here, but are we going to take such a short price, especially with Ortiz? This horse will take money, and just a horse that I don't think has got that clear of an advantage that we want to take a short price with. So that's the number 8. The number 9 is another horse that's probably going to be around second or third choice. And it's another horse that I think we want to kind of play against. Lightly raced horse, 3, some good form, some good races, but against cheaper, going 6 furlongs. Then they tried this horse on dirt. Interesting, ran okay, 1 race good, 1 race bad. Back on the turf, and this horse got a big number on this day, but just if you look at that extended, that keyword hot, what that means is the barn was really firing at that point in time. It was just like, you've seen these barns get on kind of rolls, and the Weaver barn was on a roll back then. And so that was the first off the layoff, and I don't like when a horse, and he came back pretty quick, but I don't like when the second off the layoff, the horse regresses like this. Now, yeah, it was against better company, but Woodbine, you got to take the Woodbine graded stakes with a grain of salt. But it was a little bit better company. But this horse had no finish and had a little only minor trouble. I thought that was a negative. And now he does get Castellano back, which is a positive. Maybe this horse upgrades, but he's still got to upgrade a lot off that last race to contend here. So not a horse I want to take at 4-1 or 5-1 even. I just think there are better alternatives in this race than the 9. The other ones that I talk about is the 4. And this horse is a long shot, and he's okay. I mean, this is his third race off a layoff. The big thing is I don't know how to evaluate the barn change going from Maker to Rodriguez. I just see that as a negative right now. Kind of like to think, kind of had this horse cycling around this same level. He's kind of been running thirds and fourths around this level. Now he's moving up a notch. A horse that I think at most I want underneath kind of runs that way. You can see the kind of round robin here jockeys. He's kind of switches jockeys a lot. Lescano's taking this mount. He can ride this turf course. I just a horse that from a class perspective, I prefer underneath than on top. And in fact, I just want to, one other thing too is like just trying to take a look at this horse at Saratoga. He's run okay. So he's had some okay races. So it's not I don't see it as a negative or positive. So Maxwell, I'm going to limit to underneath at a big price though. So you might want to have some inclusion underneath. The number 6 is another interesting long shot. This horse coming off a really lengthy layoff. You can see the last time this horse came off a lengthy layoff like this, did run okay, 4th, but it used it as a prep. I don't know if that's going to be the case again. Last race, last fall, ran a good race, traffic closed. And you can see that level race was comparable to today's. So this was a really good race. Can he duplicate that race off a layoff? Well, he did have a race 169 days off layoff, which he did kind of run okay too, B-. I think he's got to, just at the price, he's worth a look. Rosario gets back on him. He has a pass with this horse. All 3 Rosario races have been pretty good. And when we talk about Rosario, it's kind of been having the best years, but he seems like he's riding better since Saratoga, late Belmont. So give this horse a chance at a good double-digit price to maybe upset. And then the horse I kind of leaning the most on would be the Thin White Duke. He didn't run well in the Jaipur, and you can kind of compare that to the Wesley Ward horse. But this last race was really good, wide, no cover on a yielding course. And I just think this horse is kind of getting back to form, and he's kind of more on the improve versus the Ward horse. And even that race with the Ward horse, he kind of lost to that horse by 2 lengths. I mean, okay, the 2 lengths in a turf sprint is significant, but still, this horse has back class. And the one thing this horse is, if you filter on his Saratoga races, they're dynamite. I mean, this horse just thrives at Saratoga. He's won on the dirt there, but I mean, his 5.5 furlong turf races have been pretty good. Ran a big race in the Jaipur and the Troy last year, ran a good 3rd. Just if you look at the extended comment, he had big late pace. He really burst, and that's kind of what we're looking for on this turf course. Like we said, it's really leaning more to that this year than years past. So this horse is a real contender, 6-1. I think you're going to get all of that, and I just think this horse is worth kind of keying around in your plays and multi races and also verticals. So for me, it's Thin White Duke, looking for off the pace horses, trying to play against a couple of favorites here, and maybe include some other long shots in my exotics at race 7 at Saratoga on Wednesday, July the 26th. Hey, what we're going to be doing this weekend is Friday night. We're going to be doing Del Mar Live, Emily and I. We're going to be doing live broadcasts where we actually go through the races, the early pick 5, and stay on live as the races are going, so we can read the board with you and do a live chat. And then Saturday, probably for the Jim Dandy, we're going to see like a green report, but with a pick 5 slant to it, a pick 5 analysis using the green report. And that'll be available to Silver Plan users. And so look for those things at OptixEQ.com on Twitter and our website, OptixEQ.com. All right, everyone. Thanks. This is John from Optics. Enjoy.